Hello, welcome back for more ref inspection with Jay, your host, and we're getting right into the action here. Today's game, we have a Helsinki roller derby playing in white against the Lomme roller derby from Lille, France. Currently, in the ranking wise, Helsinki at rank 9, Europe, WFTDA, and Lomme rank 12, so quite a good match coming. As you might notice, we are doing the jammer referee position today, focusing on jammer. On the first period, we are starting on team red, which is Lomme. And already we have some action. Let's have a look. Calling a blocker penalty there on the way. Like here, what I'm seeing here is this arm or forearm being used to impede. The jammer is like kind of getting through here, but white 455 hooking with their forearm, impeding the progress of the jammer. So that looks to be, even though we don't have like crystal clear line of sight, which we would get from like the front position, seems pretty clear to me that there was significant impediment. Right on the edge of the engagement zone, presumably. Right there, we were waiting for... What I'm doing here is like waiting for... Trying to listen to this front IPR over here. Because the lead is open. The moment that this blocker is out of play, we can award the lead to our jammer. So we were listening. Out of play. We heard out of play right there, even though it looks like, well, probably this skater was like not bridging. They were like, the bridge was broken at this point. So they were moments that the skater was momentarily out of play. So already at that point we can award lead. It comes a bit late, so it looks kind of funny because at this point the pack is already close by, but yeah, that's how we do it. Pointing our finger to signify the whole jam, who is the lead jammer and can call off the jam at their discretion. Getting through on the inside, clearly in bounds, getting all 4 points. The score table is over here, and that's where I'm like contacting the score. Right here we see jammer trying to go around 455, and we see 455 moving in front. There's contact, well, at least some contact, presumably to the back, but clearly not a back block because it's the white blocker who is initiating the contact. I'm showing it right here with the non-standard hand signal being in use for couple of years now at high level gameplay, at least in Europe, also in the World Cup. So a lot of use. It's quite nice to signal to everybody who might be confused at why there is no call, to the audience, to the skaters, coaches, everyone relevant. Here we have some arm lockage. Trying to look for possible multiplayer, not seeing any there. All the pack refs are looking at it as well. Now we clearly hear that white team got awarded lead. So we don't need to worry about that as the other jammer referee. And here we have a quite tight scoring situation. It's up to the fourth whistle, and if we try to pause, let's see. Around this point, the jam is ending, And I don't believe our jammer has passed any of the white blockers. There's the white jammer over here, obviously not the points, even if they are passed. So I believe that would be 0 points. Point me out in the comments if I'm wrong. We're getting lead once again. Getting through. And the jammer is like preemptively taking my attention. Show with the jammer's hands that, hey, I'm about to call soon. Be ready. So they can time the call off better. So the opposing jammer doesn't get any points, but expending the maximal amount of energy. Possibly also often why the skaters do that is if they have skaters in the penalty box, they want the time to run out as much as it possibly can. Here looks like the jammer is staying in bounds. This foot looks clearly in bounds. And we have a quick lead. And that's at least 1 point. Clearly passing white 007 here. And yeah, we see 3 other white blockers over here. They were not passed, so we immediately know there's nobody in the box. No box points to be taken care of, so 1 point. And obviously it's very important to be at the line, at the same level as your jammer when you're approaching the pack, because otherwise it might be very hard to see which blockers are actually being passed if you're like a couple meters behind. Here we see skater possibly thinking that the jammer is out, but they're and I'm looking at the OPR, who is like looking at the feet here, nodding there, everything's fine, jammer staying in bounds. With looking at this arm, clearly no force, like not impeding, just like as an antenna sort of keeping the hand there, so no forearm call. Re-entry looks to be good. I believe lead was awarded to whites. Yep. And jam is called off before our jammer has opportunity to score. Some jammer on jammer action here. And we're off. Big pile up here. Let's see. Here our jammer being blocked out by this skater, white 1. And at this point we are trying to see if they maintain their superior position, if they stay in bounds. Can't really tell 100%, but I believe so. And they are recycling, they're keeping their hands up, and our jammer comes directly on the track in front of them, so calling the cut track penalty for that. Trying to find some room for myself on the infield to be out of way for any possible action. And we are just staring at our jammer in the box. That is the duty of the jammer referee during jammer penalties. Not the most useful, but if there's something funny going on in the box, if the jammer gets released, I mean, if the jammer exits the box before the time is done, I can correct it right away. Mild direction action coming from this offense skater. Maybe could call direction there. Decided not to. Not quite clear enough for my taste. Re-entry being good, and the jam is called off. Trying to look at the hands when we can. Okay, no star pass there. Star pass attempt done, but no star pass. Now we're getting through with the original jammer. Jam is called off. So we're following the red jammer. Each jam during the first period. At halftime we change teams with the other jammer ref, so that both teams get an equal amount of time for both jammer refs, so things are as equal as possible as we're getting through with no lead, and white jammer calls off the jam before we have an opportunity to score. Saying we as like me and my jammer. It's kind of funny, as a jammer ref you kind of get like so synced up with your jammer that you sort of feel their emotions are like living with them, kind of. It's kind of funny. There we have a nope, no star pass done. Some deception. Trying to make white team think there is a star pass, but there was not. Let's see if there's one now. There is indeed, but the new jammer gets blocked off the track and has to recycle. And we are stuck on our initial pass. Let's see what's the commotion here. Oh yeah, I remember discussing it with the skater. Actually, I believe that, well, the reason for my call is that there's this forearm, which kind of looks like it's pushing the jammer out eventually. Here. But the skater was, I believe the skater was felt that actually it's the red jammer like pulling on their arm, like not letting go of it and taking like a whip. So really hard to tell accurately, especially in real time. But it could even be possible that yeah. Lots of commotion here. Obviously we are like yeah, I'm busy with this penalty call, and my jammer is out now, touching both hands on outside, so they're out of bounds. And this skater, they had superior position, and my jammer coming right on the track. This is a massive cut, which could be called. I'm looking at the OPR, some help here. I was enforcing a penalty. I wasn't paying full attention to everything. The OPR is kind of undecided, and the jammer apparently says that no earned pass. So, well, there's our big, huge mistake. Or, well, yeah. Massive cut on two opposing skaters. That's always hard because when you're making a penalty call, that kind of takes your almost full attention because you need to get the call right. You need to look at the skater. Are they going? Well, here we see. Okay, let's just go through this. So, yeah, you're making a penalty call. It takes your attention, and even like very clear stuff like that is kind of hard to like keep track of while you're doing it. So you're kind of relying on other referees to catch like obvious stuff like that. That's one reason. Actually, maybe I should not even have gone for that blocker penalty call and let the pack refs take care of it. But yeah, not proud of that one. Should have definitely, well, no matter what I did and what was the reasons, huge cut like that. Should have caught it. Should have given a cut penalty for the jammer. Sometimes the teams bail you out and they take an official review that, hey, what about this huge cut? And then we like might end up piecing the puzzle together. But there you go. Big mistake with the officiating on my part. Staying in, all the steps taken in bounds. But yeah, for the penalty call, especially because the skater was like communicating something to me that I think they pulled on me, that even grabs more of my attention. So that's kind of an unfortunate combo right there, that I ended up getting sucked into the penalty enforcement so much that missed the more important stuff happening on the track and didn't get bailed out by my fellow referees. Some confusion. I'm just checking that there's no like OPR trying to call a penalty for my jammer. This is kind of a hard venue acoustically. So if an OPR notices like a forearm penalty, it might be kind of hard to enforce it on a jammer that's like going away really quickly. Re-entry on the track, legal. Mild direction offense going there, but couldn't tell it clearly enough. I assume this previous situation was one handout only. Over here, well, let's look at it. Yeah, here, one handout on my jammer here, I believe. There's this recycling skater, but we end up going out anyway and doing a full recycling. Re-entry is good. Oh, by the way, even like this is like a very slow-paced situation. It really pays off to like try to be perpendicular to not the same line on where the jammer is gonna re-enter, because it sometimes happens that the jammer takes like a daring line and comes on the track a bit early, and you really need to be at this line to tell if the hips come in front of the recycling skater. You also obviously need to know that the recycling skater, did they have superior position? But sometimes you get sort of like cheap cut calls when the jammers are trying to cut corners. Here that was also like close-ish, not really that close, but certainly needed to be looked at. Still no star pass. Now there is finally a star pass going to the pivot. Now a new jammer. And I'm expecting a jam call-off here. Yep, and no points for us. For the red team. Never any points for officials, sadly, even though we win every game. Easy to win when you make the rules, right? some commotion, skater possibly injured, getting a penalty call. And we also are giving a penalty call here. Let's see. It's about this situation. 007 kinda coming clockwise a bit. Not really a huge fan of that call. Probably was unnecessary, not the hugest impact. And also here our jammer, one hand out, so not actually out of bounds by rule. You need 2 hands / arms or something else, so the rule is up to the elbow on 1 arm and hand. That's fine, you're still considered in bounds.